there dreamers, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, hello. My name's Jacqueline. Consider subscribing if you are a lurker. I'd love to have you here more often, so click that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be notified of all my latest uploads. I would hate for you to miss anything. Where did you come from, dude? There's a bug in here. I have a bug zapper in the corner, and it is very loud, so when it does kill that guy, it'll be quite startling for all of us. I wanted to talk to you guys about my Hoyas. Shocker, I know. But today I wanted to talk about humidity within your home regarding Hoyas as houseplants. And I just wanted to talk about my experiences, some do's and don'ts that I have lived and learned so that you don't have to. If this is the kind of content that you are into, you can let me know by leaving me a like. That helps me out a lot. Whether your experiences have been similar or different, maybe let us know a little bit about your environment before you did anything to it to kind of give us an idea of what you're working with. I would love to hear your experiences with humidity and Hoyas in that comment section. But today I'm going to tell you about mine because I can't speak to yours yet. If you see me looking down, that's because I've written out a lot of notes regarding this subject, and so I am just referencing my notes. Most novices, most people who are just starting in Hoyas are not going to be dealing with terrariums. They're going to have Hoyas in their house, kind of like this. I mean, not like this, but they're going to have Hoyas living in the same air they're breathing. And in my experience, with Hoyas living in the same conditions as people inside, I find that they do best in a range of humidity that generally fluctuates between 40 to 65%. Anywhere in there is pretty healthy for both you and your plants. I find that on the higher side of that spectrum, Hoyas have a lot easier time putting out new growth. They really enjoy it. There's going to be a lot fewer imperfections in your leaves in my experience. Having lower humidity than that can be uncomfortable for both you and your plants. For me, I actually bought a whole house humidifier before I ever owned houseplants. I lived in a place that was very arid and dry in their climate. Your average household humidity was next to nothing. I mean, maybe 10-20% on a good day. That caused a lot of nosebleeds for me. It caused a lot of discomfort. It can cause your throat and your mouth to feel dry when you shouldn't otherwise. It can be very uncomfortable, and in the same way that it's uncomfortable for us, it can be uncomfortable for our plants. It's harder for them to grow. It's harder for them to successfully push out new growth if it's catching on all these dry bits of leaf. But by the same token, having greater than 65% humidity within the home, I find can be very detrimental as well. This I can't speak to necessarily from personal experience, but I don't really have to because we have other relevant experiences that we can draw from. Think about bathrooms and kitchens and how often mold is the culprit that is like lurking behind the walls for years. Those are the rooms of our homes where moisture can get a little bit dysregulated, and particularly if you're not using the ventilated fan that is installed in your bathroom when you use hot showers, you can get things like rot and mold and mildew and things on your towels, in your walls, keeping your house too moist. Causes stuff we don't want to grow, and stuff that we want to stay preserved to decay. Your furnishings, your carpets, your floors, your paint on your walls, your art is not intended to be stored at high humid levels. There's a reason why a lot of things say store in a cool, dry place if there's any instruction on them at all. If we are talking about a controlled environment, if we're talking about an enclosed space, something that has a bottom, something that has a lid, maybe it has some ventilation, but in general it's a contained experience. If we're talking about a terrarium or a greenhouse, then having humidity at 60% or higher is a wonderful thing. It's really conducive to healthy plant growth, quick plant growth. I think there are a lot of misconceptions about the ideal ways to gain humidity. I admittedly will speak more to ways of increasing humidity because I lived in a place that was dry and I had to supplement humidity. There are different areas of the country where maybe you have the opposite problem. You may need to run a dehumidifier. In this list, we're going to be talking mostly about ways to boost your humidity, things I would do or things I would advise against based on my personal experience. Using fans in the areas where you have plants. For filming, it's just unnecessary background noise, but I do have a small fan in this room that I turn on, and it definitely helps my plants. Over the course of 2021, my Hoyas have begun to show symptoms of either some sort of fungal bacterial infection or rust. It's more likely to happen when there is not air circulation and when it is warmer. Warm air without enough circulation can contribute to bacterial and fungal issues on your leaves, on your Hoyas, just in general. So I would say that fans are a definite please do for your houseplants and for yourself. Misting the air or misting your plants, and it goes along those same lines. We don't want unnecessary moisture sitting on the leaves and the foliage contributing to those things like fungal infections, bacterial infections. Only while that mist is actively in the air is it doing anything for your humidity. That moisture is only suspended in the air for maybe a second or two, so you're not really contributing anything. The next thing I would advise to do is to get a whole house humidifier. The humidifier I'm talking about, I will try to pull up for you. I will link it if that's something that you are interested in. This humidifier is different in that it's not putting out a mist. There's water held in the bottom and it has a big fan and it kind of propels humid air from this machine. I know, very eloquent. I'm very good at explaining this. Anyway, a lot of humidifiers that I see people promoting on YouTube, that I see people utilizing with their plant setups, are mist humidifiers, things like you would put in your kids' room if they were sick or your room if you were sick. I guess I'll get more into why I'm against those in a second, but I would highly recommend the whole house humidifier. I would recommend doing that if your overall household humidity is lower than 40%. The way to find out what your humidity levels are in your home, you can buy a little monitor. It's usually battery powered and will just sit out and it'll tell you usually the temperature and the humidity levels in the room. If you find that your house is sitting below that 40% mark or below that 35% mark, then I would say get a whole house humidifier. It might really help. It might really help your plants and you. If you're going to do that, we definitely want to use distilled water in that humidifier. The don't would be using tap water in humidifiers. The water can evaporate, but the hard mineral deposits that are in our treated tap water cannot. So you will get this fine white film over everything. It will be on your plant leaves. It'll be on your furniture. It'll be on your walls. I know because I've done it. I damaged a lot of things. I learned my lesson. That film is very, very difficult to clean, and it's pretty destructive to furniture in my experience, particularly wood furniture. The reason why I advise against the mist style humidifiers is that nature of keeping the things around them too wet. Because they're putting out a constant mist, even if you're setting it like on a plant stand over a floor, that floor is going to be very, very wet eventually because all of that mist is falling down repeatedly over and over again. If you put it near your plants, the leaves are going to be soaking wet all the time. From my own personal experience, I cannot recommend it. It's caused a lot of difficulties for me. Another thing that I would say is not very effective in raising your humidity levels is pebble trays. Not only are they kind of tedious in that they get really dirty, they need a lot of regular cleaning, but they are a potential standing water source, which if we know anything about standing water in the wild or in our homes, it's that bugs are attracted to them. Any flying bug will be attracted to a pool of standing water. So it's not going to be cute. Generally, the evaporation of that water onto your plants is not enough to boost the humidity any noticeable levels. So you're really just creating more work for yourself, more things to clean. Something that I would advise to do regarding humidity, and this is specifically regarding terrariums or greenhouses, contained areas with higher humidity, and that is to ventilate them. There are a lot of options when it comes to ventilating, depending on your setup, depending on what makes sense in that situation. The simplest solution for things that I have personally used are poking holes in plastic takeout containers. A lot of times they will have little slits for steam to come out at the top. That's perfect. You don't have to do anything to them. For scenarios where maybe you're reusing like a Tupperware container, maybe you don't want to poke a hole in it, leaving a corner loose on a plastic tub also works. If you are using something that is completely enclosed, you will want to open it every day or every other day and let fresh air get in there so things are not getting moldy, things are not getting stagnant. Just something to bear in mind if you see people like, putting weather stripping on that Millsbo cabinet from IKEA. Don't think that you can do that and not like have a fan or something, because it's going to be a mess. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you did enjoy it and you watched it all the way to the end, let me know. Like it down below. Leave me some sort of planty emoji in that comment section. That's how we know you made it to the end. And thank you so much for all your support. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.